Hi everybody, and welcome to Jay and Kenya's weight loss journey. This is episode 10, real life. Today's topic is about what motivates you. So basically I wanted to just touch on some factors that motivates us to continue our weight loss journey. I would say motivation is a key factor in this entire journey, and it waxes and wanes. Some days you feel like eating healthy, some days you don't. For dietary behaviors, I'm gonna say this week, in the last couple of weeks, just being on this fast has been my motivation to continue the dietary, staying in that dietary range in which that I'm supposed to, or at least the foods that I'm supposed to be eating for this Daniel fast. So for me, that's what's been my motivating factor this past week.
This week, I started off strong in the beginning of the week, towards the tail end of the week. Lost all motivation. Wanted to reward myself with food, which is not a good reward. Didn't work twice as hard to get rid of that food that I actually chose to eat.
For you, would you say some of the motivation that you may have during weeks when you've lost weight compared to weeks that you haven't lost weight? What motivates you to go either way?
Well, I actually start to smell myself for the most part. Feeling better about myself for some of the adjustments I made, as far as exercising, activity, food choices. And I thought I can probably do more than I should. So,
Or
like cheat or have something I shouldn't eat, or like instead of like my little plate, it was still little, but I started to pile on my little plate.
Yeah.
So, it was like, bad decisions all the way around as far as portion control for the most part. Dietary, the last couple of weeks I did a lot in water. I drank a lot of water. This past week, my water intake was weak. I really didn't go through nothing. So food-wise, like I said, portion control didn't do nothing like I supposed to. I ate out more because just life just hits you sometimes. I just picked up quick food, which is no excuse. Should have prepared better.
From last week, I had lower proteins. I had higher carbs last week than I did this week. My fiber was lower last week intake. My sugars were higher last week, and the fat content was higher last week. And the caloric intake last week was higher. This is cycle time. I'm always going to bring that up when it's time of the cycle, my week, because there's things that just physiological changes for me that I have recognized about myself, and I am trying to overcome that. My physical activity, I did this week 7,310 steps per day. My goal is to stay at 6,000. I'm trying to, from last week we were talking about being real. Okay, and so I wanted to set myself up for being realistic this week, and just moving forward being realistic, given some physical issues that I may have dealing with my knee, and sometimes just the thought about doing more than 30 minutes a day exercise, it's really not motivating for me. So if I start it and with the anticipation of saying I'm going to go in this 30 minutes and I do more, then I'm excited. But at least like 30 minutes just goes by so fast. What's 30 minutes? We do.
I don't know about you, but I'm kind of like the opposite. Let me say 20 minutes, and when I'm feeling good and feel like, I want to get this extra, quarter of a mile, or like I can do another mile, then I just stay. So I start with 20.
So you basically just said the same thing that I did.
No,
but you just
really.
have a different number to it.
You said
start off with
minutes.
a lower number, and then if you get into it and do more.
Yeah, but you were saying it's to start off far as the 30. I just start off far as saying I'm going to get up there. If I get on the treadmill, if I get to start doing some type of activity, then I just go. I don't like I did set a time for us 2 times a day, 20 minutes at least, 2 miles. But this past week, I kind of was just like, let me just get on the treadmill or get on the bike and just go until I feel like stopping. But once I get going, I don't want to stop until I reach that 2 mile or
same
whatever.
Thing, same difference. Okay.
Difficult.
You guys let us know. Was that not just the same difference or not? Okay.
Not at all.
This week the weather has been really nice. So that has been a very big motivating factor for me.
Well, that worked for her. The weather didn't change my decision. I was like, I'm gonna get on the treadmill. That's what I'm doing, and make sure I'm in place to be on the treadmill. I don't want to start nothing far as the weather. Then the weather change up or get wet or start raining or something. Then, got to switch it up again.
For the overall feeling of motivation, it was lower for me. But the thing that did help was the fact that knowing I have a challenge that I'm in and I want to win.
The motivation of winning is positive. The money doesn't. It don't bother me either way, to be honest with you. But the fact of having bragging rights, that kind of gets me going a little bit.
Behavior modifications. So what has continued to help you stay motivated with your behavior modifications?
Behavior wise, I wasn't motivated at all. I had to go to eat between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. I ate a lot after 9, like about 4 days out that time period. I was eating a lot of late meals, and I was just trying to get them in and get that third meal in, and just was making bad choices. Instead of just sticking to my water, I grabbed a sweet tea, I grabbed a Coca-Cola, I grabbed a bunch of stuff that I didn't want because it's been a while since I had it, so I wanted it. So I got kind of pissed off and kind of wanted it.
That's called the fear of missing out. I call it the fear of missing out.
I just wanted a Coke.
You're like missing out. You feel like you're just missing out on those things, FOMO.
But I didn't grab the chocolate. That's why I feel I could have done a whole lot better this week.
Behavior modifications for me this week. I was not motivated to track my meals. I took the food photos daily, but tracking it, I try to track it by the end of the night. It might have been 2 days between that. Okay, spiritual behaviors. Basically, there has even been with me the lack of motivation to read and study. I pray daily, continuously throughout the day. But the motivation to read and study my Bible has not been there. But one of the things that I must say helped me was thinking about where I've come from. I would say this time last year, I wasn't even, to this level of where I am now of reading or praying and studying or journaling. So, I had to think on those things that were good, those things that were positive, to say, you're doing better from where you were. And so for that, I'm grateful.
Prayer wise, thank God when I woke up in the morning, I read my daily verses that my aunt sends me. But at the same time, I let my emotions get the best of me this past week. Frustrated about a lot of different topics, stress. Let my emotions determine how my day went or how I felt about the rest of the day. Spent too much time maybe watching movies or doing other activities, so I need to get back focused on, reading the Bible and get back to the Word.
For this past week, the couples challenge and my fasts were two things that definitely helped me stay on track with my motivation. And I truly believe that my decreased motivation correlates with my cycle. But how do I overcome this? This is the main thing. We recognize things, but we need to figure out how we overcome these challenges in our motivation. This is what I want you guys to start to think about when there's times of lack of motivation, okay? Ask yourself these questions. Number one, why am I feeling this way? Is it because of different life situations, stressors, job, home, or is there a physiological problem? For me, it was like this week was my cycle. I know that had a lot to do with my motivation. Next, the question is, how can I become more motivated to continue my lifestyle change? Was there anything this week that contributed to your motivation?
I had to remind myself reference to what my goal was. I had to recognize that, that by me making this public to y'all as far as what I'm trying to do, that makes me try to be kind of accountable to y'all to make sure I go through this process to actually not just waste my time. Then I actually looked at just plotting my progression, which you said as far as like you had to think about the positive steps. You wasn't here last year, and this year you're able to pray and do some different things you ain't been able to do.
Yeah.
So I had to be thankful that hey, I'm exercising more than I ever had in my life. I'm spending time more with God than I ever had in my life. I'm trying to eat better and making better decisions than I ever had. Just to touch on this, is 4 types of motivation: intrinsic, extrinsic, introjected, and identified. As far as what I looked at, I'm put more of an internal reasons why I do it, which is intrinsic, and just try to focus on me and what I need to do, and start thinking about the outside factors that affect, my emotions, how I eat, and different things like that.
How can I become more motivated to continue my lifestyle change? So begin to think on basically those things that initially motivated you to lose the weight, okay? Things may be like your improvement of your health conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure, improved body appearance, fitting clothes better, or even just feeling better about yourself, or just try to dwell on those things. And then weigh the alternative. If you stop this lifestyle behavior, what things will happen to myself? So if I don't continue it, I can have worsening health conditions. Osteoarthritis can worsen. Continuing chronic medications, I may have to stay on medications for the rest of my life. Or your situation may be you have higher medical bills because of the obesity, worsening depression, or even your self-esteem, lower self-esteem. These things may be factors for you.
What I want to add is, I like me. Other folks might not like me. They don't like what I look like, or how I dress, or how I fit certain things. But I feel good about me. As long as I'm trying and I know what I'm doing, I'm good. But at the same time, you sit there and you see other people start to judge you, or you get opportunities, or you miss out on opportunities because of how you look and how you feel about how you look, because it lacks encouragement, motivation. It lacks courage or confidence to be able to do whatever it is you want to desire to do. So, for me, it's an overall life change. I'm trying to change the way I feel about me, how I look, and it's also going to change how other people look, but you can't control none of that. So you got to be about what you want. And as long as you're good with your attempts to be successful, that's all that actually matters. And when you, in the moment when you exercise, you're doing different things, you, like I say, you don't see those results, so you don't see that influence from other people having comments about you, then it can push you, or it can drive you back to the bad eating habits or the different things, reference to why I do it in the first place. So it got to be for you. Don't do it for no other reason other than you, all right? Because you'll be disappointed otherwise. What about that?
Okay, so basically the main thing is think on the positive things.
There you go. Positive.
Think on all those things that are good and positive, all the benefits that you will have throughout this weight loss journey. Just continue to stay motivated and believe that you can do it. believe that you can do this. Regardless, just speak positive, think positive, and you'll be able to achieve it, okay? Now it's time for the couples challenge.
I forgot what I did, just for the record.
Jay's weight last week was
I know that.
303.0.
Yeah.
This week, Jay's weight was 301.6. You lost 1.4 pounds.
Now this margin, I actually met my goal.
My weight last week was 167.2 pounds. This week, my weight was 167.2 pounds. So I lost no weight this week, and I am extremely excited about that because it was cycle week for me. So you know what? It's this. That's what's keeping me continually motivated, is knowing the progression from month to month. I'm still losing weight, and I didn't gain any weight this week. Let's get to the weekly pot pay. $20. And I have changed out these for $100 bills. $100. So there is a penalty payment for myself because I didn't lose my minimum of 0.7 pounds. That's all right. I'll make it up next week. Or this week coming up. Yeah.
Whoa.
So here's my $10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. $10 in the pot. Mind you guys, I plan on getting all this back at the end of it.
I ain't counting, but that's 3 weeks in a row, and most of everything in there
3
is
weeks in a
hers.
row?
Yeah,
For what?
I don't want 3 weeks in a row. But most of the money in that pot belong to her. That's for the record. I just thought I'd mention that. I don't want 3 straight weeks. I don't know how I won 3 straight weeks, but I know.
With my help, Jay, that's the only way. Because he wouldn't have won if I wasn't helping him. Okay, so for this week's reward, Jay gets $20. And no, you're not getting my $20. Let me find the old $20. Now, the total pot amount, let's count. So we got 200.
I'll write it down though.
20, 40, and 50. 250.
All right.
I hope you were able to take in some of the information on today's topic and to be able to stay motivated during this weight loss journey. No, it's not easy, but it is definitely achievable, and we can do it. We're doing it, and we know that you guys can do it as well too. So please subscribe to the channel, like it, share it, make comments, and yeah, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Yeah, take it easy.
Cut out. Anyway.